Asalamualaikum, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wherever You're At. Except today is not like any other episode, because today we've made it to YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, obviously you can't see this, but we're actually on YouTube right now. Wow. Okay, I've wanted to record these podcasts for so long, like in video format. It's just something like when I think of podcasts, I think of it being recorded on a camera and then uploading the audio to another platform, right? But I've put it off. Like everything I want to do, unfortunately, I put it off for like a long time. And then I finally bring up the courage to be able to do it. And that courage did not show up yesterday when I tried to record this for the first time, because I had a mental breakdown and it was bad. It was actually right here. It was right here on this big couch that I'm sitting on. I'll talk to you guys about that later. But firstly, I just wanted to say that if you're new here, because now that I am on YouTube, you might have just randomly clicked on this video. Welcome to the best podcast you're ever going to listen to. And I'm not saying that lightly. I'm saying that with my whole heart, because confidence is key. And I really think you're going to like it here. I have been doing this for almost 2 years now, and what's crazy is like I only have like 15 episodes or something like that. But we're getting there, okay? I'm already daydreaming about my 100th episode. Like, we should throw a party or something. We, as in like literally me on this couch. But I love this podcast. It's my favorite form of social media that I use, because I feel like I have finally found girls like me, you know? So if you're a guy, yikes, I'm sorry. Like, this is not meant for you. I really am for the girls and for the girls only. So this is your sign to click off. There are, of course, other things you can listen to, but I'm not your girl. I'm not your girl. Anyways, hey girls. So if you're new here, I am so glad that you decided to click, or you decided to tune in, or wherever you're listening. Subtle flex, subtle plug. Did you see how I said wherever you're listening? That's the point of this podcast, wherever you're at. So wherever you're at in the world, wherever you're at spiritually, wherever you're at mentally, if you're literally on the floor of your closet crying, press play. If you're happy as a bumblebee in a field, press play. If you're in another country, another continent, another universe, press play. Because this is just where I hope you feel seen and you feel heard and you feel like someone is talking about the struggles and just the day-to-day lifestyle of a Muslim girl, okay? So we go through a lot, and inshallah we're all rewarded for what we go through. But there's also so many beauties in being a Muslim girl, and I am so beyond grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made me Muslim, and we should all be so grateful for that, because out of all the people in the world, he chose you to be Muslim, or he chose you to watch this. So if that's not your sign that God loves you and Islam is something that you should actually put time and effort into, then I don't know what is. Anywho, let's get into today's topic. So today, I believe this is episode 14. Oh my God. I have a widget on my phone with my podcast on it. Not that I listen to it. I actually hate listening to my voice. I think the worst thing about the podcast is that I have to edit them. So if you're an editor, and I don't want to get flooded, please, but if you're an editor, a girl editor, and you are in college or older, and you would like to edit or help me edit some of these videos, and you feel like you understand the style of the way I talk and how I edit and how I record, hit me up on my email, podcastwya@gmail.com. And let's see if we can work together, please. But anyways, yes, this is episode 14. So if you haven't listened to the last episode, it's called Growing Up. And it's about how, oh my God, I don't even remember. Guys, I swear. Wait, and this is why I have descriptions on there, okay? It's talking about how I moved to Pennsylvania, alhamdulillah, and it's about adult friendships, marrying young, and coming back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So carrying on that theme, today's topic is called Reflect and Reset. Because as Muslims, we should always be reflecting on our actions day to day. Like literally every single day, you're supposed to like sit at the end of the day and be like, okay, what did I do today? Like, what did I do for this life? What did I do for the next life? What are the good things I did? What are the bad things I did? Asking for forgiveness for the bad things and being thankful for the good things and all that stuff. So I don't feel like we do that enough. I personally don't do that enough. So every time I make a podcast, it's usually relevant to my life at the moment, just because I feel like that's how it can be most genuine with what I'm talking about. So right now, I am in desperate need of a reset. And not the types of resets that I used to do in high school, which was literally, I wanted to rebrand like every 2 days. Like I would have an aesthetic or I'd have like a vibe and I'd be like, ugh, I talk too much. I'm going to rebrand to a mysterious girl. Or like, I don't like the things I'm wearing, so I'm going to rebrand to something completely different. Or literally rearranging my entire bedroom at least 4 times a month, to the point where my dad said I could only rearrange my room once a month. Which, let's be honest, how did that even affect him at the end of the day? Like, no, for real, because that was my room. Why couldn't I do whatever I wanted with it? But it was excessive, honestly. If I had a kid who was rearranging their room like every 10 minutes, I'm not even kidding. Like one second my bed is like all the way in the corner, and next, like the second you walk in the room, it was like as if I just went on some renovation show. That was the life. That was the life. I actually thought I was going to be an interior designer, with the amount that I enjoyed rearranging things. But anywho, this rebranding that I'm talking about, this reset, is going to be more Islam focused, because obviously younger me wasn't there yet mentally. But now as an adult, I feel like when we reflect, we should reflect on everything deen-wise. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't feed into society's idea of like all we should focus about is how we look and how successful we are. That's exactly what's going to like take us away from our deen. You know what I mean? Because Islam is so down to earth. You know what I mean? It's like meeting a person that's so down to earth. Like they're not superficial. They're not shallow. They're not like, they just focus on what matters. You know what I mean? That's Islam. To know that you even are in need of a reset, I feel like is when you notice that you're just too attached to the dunya. And being attached to this world, it shows itself in many different ways. I mean, we're human. Like, obviously, we're going to be attached to this world. It's at our fingertips. You know what I mean? Like, Jannah or hellfire, like, we can't see those, right? So it's harder to internalize what they actually are or, like, visualize that. But this world, obviously, it's right in front of us. So the whole test is how much are we going to indulge in this life in comparison to how much we're preparing for the next, right? Okay, quick little intermission before we continue. We have a sponsor for today's video. Yes, a sponsor. And it is the Australian clothing brand Fajr Noor. I'm going to have them linked in the description and linked here. So basically, like I said, Australian clothing brand, and their mission is to literally bring people closer to Islam. So the values that they want to encourage are tawakkul, sabr, and shukr, and they have really good quality things, honestly, because their abaya, they sent me like 3, but there's one that's like literally my favorite thing ever. I have gotten so many compliments on it, and it's just a regular abaya, but it's like oversized, it's so cute, and the material is airy. Like, I actually feel like a princess wearing it, and I'm not exaggerating. A lot of their abayas are very affordable, very cute, so I really recommend you guys go check them out. They also give sadaqah for every single order, so duh. And they offer 10% off your first purchase. Thank you, Fajr Noor, for sponsoring the video. One of the biggest things that I like to remember is that there are so many things actually that remind us how short this life is. Like, for example, obviously the fact that what do we have, like an average of 60, 70 years in this world, and heaven and hell is eternal. Come on, like, let's be honest. What are we, it just feels really stupid, honestly, when you really think about it. It boils down to the fact that we are so obsessed with ourselves and with what this life looks like and how to be successful, and the big house and the family and the money and all that stuff. It's all temporary. You know, like, the happiest people are the people that live in this world as a traveler. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Live in this world like a traveler. Like, you're not meant to be here, right? You're not meant to be here. So I think I've said this in another episode. The the analogy that like, would you renovate a hotel that you're staying in? Like, would you like change the bed, change the shelves? Would you like break a wall down, do whatever you need to make it like the best of the best? Would you do that if it was a hotel? You wouldn't. And you have to think of this life as a hotel. I don't think about it as a hotel enough, and that's exactly why we're resetting. Do you get the vibe? I think you know. I think we're on the same level now, right? Like I said, I feel like a sign that you're too attached to this world is that you don't think about death enough. Like, you don't think about death or the next life enough. Like, it's all about your work and your school and your friends and like how to make money and how to look pretty. Like, you know, we can enjoy this life to an extent. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the world like very beautiful. I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, Allah didn't need to make everything so pretty. Like, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking about like leaves changing, leaves turning orange and red. Like, why did they need to do that? Why did he need to eat so hard with fall and seasons and snow? Like, why did he do that? Out of mercy for us, because he loves us, right? So I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful, honestly, for the beauty of the world. Even if you don't live in an area that like you see the seasons or an area that's that pretty, just acknowledging that like it exists. You know what I mean? Me and my husband were just looking at like places around the world, and we were like, wow, we really live in the ugly part of the world. And it's true. Places in the East are so pretty. Like, ugh. SubhanAllah. I hope we all get to travel places sometime. I want to go to Washington so bad. I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about Washington and Canada. What is it called? Like Banff or something like that. It was just really pretty mountains and lakes. I want to go so bad. Also Montana and Utah. Like, I've never been to those states, and I really want to go because I like going places where you can actually experience the season. And hopefully, inshallah, this year in Pennsylvania, I get to experience fall and winter and spring. I'm so excited. Because I'm from Texas, so we don't get much. I mean, it's summer all year long with hints of like, this is what it would look like if you had a fall, BT dubs. Hey, this is what you would look like if you had snow. Here's like 3 inches if you want every 5 years. So I'm excited. Alhamdulillah. Anyways, what was I talking about? Tangent. Like down here looking at my notes, bro. Why do I even take notes as if I don't go on tangents and end up saying point number 10 when I'm talking about point number 1? I tried to take notes because I've realized I really want my content to be more Islamic based, because if it's not, then what's the point of posting? Everything you do should be Islamic based, because if it's not, then when God asks you about it, what are you going to say? Like, what am I going to say okay, for example, I had a video on here called Unproductive Day in the Life. What am I going to say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he asked me, like, why did I post that? Not even in a bad way, just a question. Why did you post that? Like, what was the benefit? I don't even remember talking about Islam in that video. Took it down. Done. No more. I mean, everything you do needs to have intention to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because if it's not, like, you will be asked about everything, right, on the Day of Judgment. So we have to be ready. Again, look at me talking about a point I'm talking about later. Ugh. Okay. So, sorry. I made coffee, BT dubs. Not the ASMR. It's actually quite bad, unfortunately. I went to Target and I got 2 different bags of beans. One was called Illy, because someone on Instagram told me to get that. And one was called, what is it called? Something culture? Culture coffee, or like coffee what was it? I don't remember. I tried the one that I can't remember, and it tastes like coffee shop coffee. You know how like coffee shop coffee, it's not bad, but it's like every coffee shop has like their distinct weird taste at the end. And so I feel like that's what this one is. Here for my YouTube people, this is what my coffee looks like. Oh, I didn't get it from outside. I made it from inside. But I like to get cups that make it look like I got my coffee from outside, so I don't feel like I'm missing out. Isn't that so smart? Anywho, back to the freaking topic at hand. I feel like I need to take a break and like regroup my brain. Actually, my face is getting red. I don't know why I'm like tired right now. Let the coffee kick in, please. So one of the things that I realized I was too attached to, and that's the reason I even felt like, okay, I need to reset, and I want to take you guys with me on my reset. And I want to remind you guys that we should be reflecting and resetting all the time. I am too attached to beauty. Genuinely. And I'm not saying that as like a pick-me thing. Like, I'm so attached to my beauty. Genuinely, I care way too dang much. And it's almost like embarrassing. Like, I'm looking at my husband of like almost 3 years now, I think. And like, we could be having a normal convo. And my brain is like, I really hope he thinks I look pretty right now. And I'm like, girl, you're 3 years in. Can you focus on the convo? Like, what is this? Like, why? My brain is like, I hope he doesn't look at me from the right side because that's my bad side. Like, are you joking? Like, be so for real right now. And just the fact that it consumes my mind that much. And like, for example, I made a TikTok about hijab a while back. It like blew up, but like a lot of people didn't like it and a lot of people liked it. In the video, I was talking about how like the whole breakdown I had was caused by not finding something to wear for the gym. Like, I was just frustrated about that. And like, that didn't land with a lot of people because I feel like I might be the only one or one of the only ones that really struggles like getting dressed or getting ready when I don't like how I look. For example, when I try to let go of makeup, I'm fine if I'm not wearing hijab. Like, I actually genuinely think I look nice. Like, I look good. The second I put the hijab on without makeup, I'm like, I wish I could wear makeup right now, right? Because hijab, like right now, all you can see is my face. So it's like right in front and center. So it's a little bit hard for me to like be okay with how I look without makeup when I don't have like, you know, hair or anything else to like, you know, carry. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. Like, if I'm wearing hijab with makeup, I feel confident. I feel great. So, but the problem is I'm trying to give up makeup. So I'm not finding the confidence anymore. Like, okay, I feel like I'm not making sense. For example, no makeup with a loose hijab, I feel like I can be a little bit more confident. Or like tight hijab with makeup, a little bit more confident. I don't have either because I'm tightening my hijab and I'm wearing makeup. Does that make sense? Does it? Please tell me it does, please. I hope this is like very niche. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Anyways, so yesterday during my little mental breakdown, it was actually right when I was about to get ready to record this, and I couldn't find something that just made me feel normal. For example, like there's YouTubers that I like look at on YouTube that do solo podcasting, and I was like, okay, what do they look like when they do it, you know? And they're wearing bummy outfits. I'm like, oh, so cute. But they're wearing no makeup. They have like a cute hairstyle. Like, it carries, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't really like how I look bummy without makeup and hijab, you know? So I was like, okay, let me go like the maybe more dressy route, but I still don't wear makeup. And then I'm like, well, now I look like I got ready to go out, but I forgot to do my makeup. And let me tell you why I feel like this. Because I feel like the steps that I'm trying to take, right, the no makeup and the tightening my hijab and wearing loose clothes, I'm not putting myself above anyone. Please do not take that from this. But I am saying that I don't see a lot of people doing it. Like, genuinely, I don't see many people on social media trying to give up makeup. Matter of fact, they're trying to do more makeup or find different ways to do it. And I love makeup, but like Islamically, it does beautify us, and so we're not supposed to do it. So, like in front of non-mahrams, obviously you do it in front of your husband, your friends, girl parties, whatever you want to do. But in terms of non-mahrams, so like posting on social media or like going out with it, we're not supposed to do it. So I didn't see like a lot of people doing it. So I was like, damn, like I'm the only one, bro. Well, that's what it feels like, obviously. Whenever someone's struggling or you're struggling with something, you always feel like you're the only one. I'm sure there's plenty of people trying to give up certain things, and they also feel like the only one. So I'm thinking, like, I don't have anyone to compare myself to. So when I post on social media without makeup, I feel like I'm like getting ready for like a fight and I have like no weapons. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a face card. I don't have like the fit. I don't have the like the cute hairstyle. Like I don't have that to like bring to the table. Does that make sense? Maybe like showing up to a fight wasn't a good analogy. It's like, you know, when your girls, like let's say your girls all go out to dinner and they all wear makeup and they didn't tell you or something. You're not on the same playing field anymore because now everyone's doing something that enhances their beauty, right? And you're not wearing makeup. So what I'm saying is I feel like it's an unfair game. And that's what I have to let go of, is that I'm not here to look pretty. I'm not in this world to look pretty. And I was watching Farah's video on YouTube about how, like, you don't have to be pretty. Like, you just don't. It's not the biggest thing, you know? So, like, when I'm here thinking about all the time, like, I really want to, and I'm not saying I want to look my best on social media, but I at least want to look a little bit pretty because I feel like everyone else does. All right, I gotta give up. Like, this is not making sense. The thing is, like, a lot of the things that I talk about, I need to talk about them for like 2 hours to get my full point across, because my brain right now is telling me this is not landing because you're not fully explaining yourself. So, but I'm just gonna let it be. I'm okay with being misunderstood. Okay, like, I'm okay with being misunderstood. Look, this is me trying to backtrack and making you guys understand that I love hijab. Genuinely, it is so hard for me right now, and I don't know why. And not the type of hard where I feel like taking it off, because that's not something that I see myself doing. Inshallah. I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always leaves that like off limits, like very far from my mind, that as a possibility. And I try to think about it like salats. Like whenever I like struggle with salats or like, oh, I missed that prayer, or like, why can't I focus? Like, I'm always like distracted. I don't think in my head, like, maybe I should just stop praying and then like get more focused. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I should stop praying, improve my focus, and then come back to praying. Why would I do that? First of all, it's literally fard. It's an obligation on every Muslim to pray, just like it's an obligation on every Muslim woman to wear hijab. But you don't think to stop praying, right? You just continue with the struggle until it gets better. So with hijab, this idea that we should just stop, it's really just rooted in wanting to fit in with everyone else and wanting to get away from the people that are very, very like harsh on hijabis for not wearing it properly. Because the second you take it off, like, people don't care what you wear anymore. I've noticed, like, you have a girl on social media, she's not hijabi, she makes a TikTok. Maybe it's like a dancing TikTok, or maybe she's just showing off her fit, and it's tight. She's Muslim, not wearing hijab. No hate comments. You scroll, there's the hijabi doing the same exact thing, plenty of hate comments. And I get it, hijab does represent Islam, so like, we have more of a responsibility to portray Islam in a certain way, but obviously not everyone's perfect and no one deserves hate. Islamically, that is so wrong to give someone hate, especially publicly. But what I'm saying is that I get why girls think that hijab is something that you can just take off, but it's really not. Like maybe if it was like an extra thing, like hijab is just like an extra thing that like Allah loves you even more if you wear that or something like that, or you get even more reward. Literally fard. It's an obligation. So I guess this is me saying that I don't know what I'm saying. Honestly, I want to scrap this entire podcast right now. But I'm being real. I'm just giving you guys my raw thoughts. Obviously, I love discussing things with you guys. That's why I have a Patreon. Subtle plug. I'll tell you guys about that later. But if you guys have any opinions or points or whatever, comment them. I would love to see. No hate. Obviously, you know where those goes. Straight to the trash. But anyways, what was I talking about? My attachment to beauty, unfortunately. It's actually quite embarrassing for me to talk about this, especially like, I just feel like in my head, some people are thinking like, you be having breakdowns about like what to wear. Like, it's not that deep. You know what I mean? But to me, it's not necessarily like what I have to wear. Like, oh, I can't find anything cute. I get overwhelmed very fast. So when I'm getting dressed, on my mind is like, okay, don't wear makeup because it's tabarruj, and then make sure your hijab is fully wrapped, but then make sure the outfit's cute enough, but make sure it's bummy, but make sure it's not like too like tight on your neck, because that's going to be like overstimulating. But also like look at the pimples on your cheek, like you should probably cover those. And then, oh my god, it's getting really hot, oh wait, the light is going away, so now you don't have time to film. My brain is like rapid firing these thoughts, and then they just get meaner and meaner as the time goes by, and they're like, why did you even think you were capable of doing that, la di da, like you're ugly, you know, the brain, or my brain at least, unfortunately. So that kind of like, those, honestly, it's shaitan. It really is the whispers of shaitan. And I love that Islamically we can blame shaitan for things. Like, I don't have to go to sleep thinking like I'm so weak that like I care so much about how I look, or that I don't love the hijab as much as other girls may love the hijab, or I don't feel as beautiful as other girls may feel in the hijab. I can blame it on shaitan. Like, I don't have to go to sleep carrying that. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's not my fault. It's your fault. Like, it's shaitan's fault. Like, he is trying to detach me from my hijab and make me like fall out of love with it. So obviously it's my job to battle those thoughts and just always try to improve Islamically, because if I'm focusing on my Quran and my salat, I have protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from shaitan. So I saw this thing where if you feel like so vulnerable to the whispers of shaitan, like everything he says, like you're low-key like agreeing to, you're like, yeah, you're right, I should just take it off, and then you take it off. Or like, yeah, why would I pray Maghrib, bro? I didn't even pray Fajr. Those kind of thoughts, if you fall into them, it's because, no, the the video that I saw was saying that if you find yourself vulnerable to the whispers of shaitan, look at your salat. Look at your salat, because salat is a protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if it's not strong, you're not protected. So basically get to it. You know what I mean? Anyways, you know what sucks is like I want to be vulnerable with you guys and give you guys like everything that I'm thinking, but sometimes I'm like, there's always going to be that one person that thinks like, oh, she struggles with the hijab, then I'm not going to wear the hijab. But tell me you don't have bad hair days. Like, I saw someone on TikTok say like, they commented on my video saying that they were like, this video made me not want to wear the hijab. I'm like, girl, do you not have bad hair days? You think it's not possible to have bad hijab days too? You're gonna have both. I don't like this idea that everyone thinks that you should put on hijab when you are gonna love it. Obviously, work on your relationship with the hijab. The more you understand the hijab as a protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and as something that just distinguishes you from everyone else. Like, alhamdulillah, my dad, when I was little, because I wore hijab very early, like in 2nd grade. So I was like 9 years old. And that was my own choice. I literally just wanted to look like my mom. Like, I was like, girl, you look so cute. Hand me that underpiece with the rainbows on it. Meow. Okay, thank you. So he used to tell me that because I was the only hijab in my school in like 4th grade who wore it. So I'm pretty sure I was the only Muslim too. Maybe there was like 3. He told me that everyone else was like, we were in a field of grass and they were all grass, and I was this one flower just poking up with my hijab. And I was like, okay, you ate with us, sir. Like, you ate with that. Thank you. Fortunately, that did make my head bigger in 4th grade, and I really thought I was on top of the world. I would take girls into the bathroom and show them my hair, and they'd be like, oh my God, so cool. And I'd be like, okay, 5 minutes are up. Who's next? And I wish to have that confidence right now. And I do. Like, I genuinely feel like the hijab just really, girls who wear the hijab, like, we just look like, what's it called? Like, you know when someone passes by and you just, like, get good vibe from them? Like, good energy. You're like, wow, like, the hijab is flowing. Like, they look like an angel, basically, right? That's what I think, honestly. I really, especially with all the patterns we have now, it's really beautiful. I love that everyone's really getting into their style. I'm trying to get there. I feel like I have found my style, honestly. It's very oversized, flowy, coffee shop aesthetic kind of vibe. I like it. I'm actually going to start recording fits for you guys on TikTok and on Reels. I'm really excited about that because I feel like a lot of you guys ask me where I shop or like outfit ideas or whatever. But a lot of the time, It's not that I have trouble finding an outfit. It's that I have trouble making it 100% modest while also feeling confident. I think my standards for myself are too dang high. Genuinely, they're too high. Like, I always want to look my best, and I feel like I need to let that go. Like, I'm not here to look, like, attractive, you know? Like, the beauty comes from the hijab, right? Like, someone who's wearing a hijab, there's already a beauty to them because they've decided to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they decided to take that step, especially where most places we live in, it's not easy to wear the hijab because you look different from everyone else. But that different is so beautiful. You know what I mean? So I have to let go of, you know what I think it is? I think my idea of beauty right now is going a little bit away from Islam. You know what I mean? Like, I am a big believer of you are what you consume. So if I'm consuming social media of a bunch of non-hijabi girls, not even Muslim girls, then of course when I'm getting dressed and that's my idea of beauty, like subconsciously, that's what I'm going to want to try to look like. And the fact that I can't achieve it without compromising my hijab, it's showing that I'm surrounding myself with the wrong things. And I always find that my iman is the highest when my For You page has Quran and Muslim content and the khimar girls and the abaya girls. Like, that's when I feel the best, because now my brain is associating beauty and elegance with that, which is what Islam teaches, is that modesty is beautiful, and privacy, the privacy of not showing your body or showing your beauty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not show your beauty. Like, preserve it, protect it, because honestly, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, but this world is so hard on women, like so hard on women. We are always expected to look our best, be the best mothers, be the best friend, be the best wife, like have the best body, have the most luscious hair, have the best skin. Like, guys, like, genuinely, I never really understood how little they think about when it comes to how they look. And obviously, of course, guys have their insecurities, and like, of course, there's like comparison with bodies and stuff with guys, but the level at which women are expected to like look their best is insane. Like, or like, it's just all they think about, you know what I mean? And when I find myself falling into that, that's when I notice like, whoa, I'm way too attached to this dunya right now. Like, I just saw a video on my TikTok, and it was this girl dyeing her hair brown, and she goes, uh-oh, Kendall Jenner dyed her hair blonde. Like, what am I gonna do? Homegirl, be yourself. What? Are they really that, like, there's this thing where, like, people on TikTok keep saying we. What are we wearing this fall? What are we putting on our skin? Like, guys, what are we doing? Like, what kind of aesthetic are we doing? And I'm like, okay, I get it when it comes to, like, guys, what are we doing for fungal acne? Like, is there anything specific to help me, like, clear up my skin? Or, like, what are we doing, what are we doing to, like, stay warm, like, in the winter? Like, what kind of jackets are the best? Like, I love when social media can bring people together in that way, but, like, what are we doing as, like, one singular body to look pretty? Like, that's insane to me. Like, even the comments caught it. They were like, girl, what? Like, do what you want to do. Like, why would you copy a random celebrity? Like, if they're going blonde, you're going blonde. But that's really what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, are skinny jeans in the summer, or are mom jeans in the summer? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, are we doing long nails, almond nails? Like, have you seen that girl on TikTok who does, like, the impressions of how crazy overconsumption core is, like, right now? Like, how we are, like, even TikTok shop. Like, guys, I could talk about this forever. Like, every time I scroll, TikTok shop, TikTok shop, TikTok shop, TikTok shop. This video helped me record my video. This thing did this. This supplement makes me de-bloat. This thing cleared my skin. This thing brought my eyelashes longer. This thing made my hair grow back. What? Genuinely, the brain rot is insane. And I'm not saying this as like a, look at them. I'm looking at me. Okay, finger to my face right now. Because if my For You page is filled with TikTok shop, guess what? It's because I've been saving them. Sorry. I'm a little bit of a shopaholic, so I like to save like everything, unfortunately. So I am doing it to myself. And I've really been trying to save like Quran things and like Islamic content, because I'm like, my For You page is actually, I'm losing brain cells when I open that app. And yet I can't delete it because TikTok is my Google. I wish there was a TikTok that like was only the search bar. Like, I don't want the For You page. Matter of fact, let me just not open it anymore, because I like it to look at recipes. I like it to look like to go down rabbit holes of things that I'm thinking about, but not the For You page. Like, the doom scrolling is really taking me away from life. Anyways, wow. We really took a tangent. By we, I mean me, on the topic. Like, we're already 40 minutes in. Okay. We're about to lock in right now. I hope... Okay, I'm not mad at how much I talked about beauty, because I feel like that's such an important topic. And you know what? Okay, I miss feeling pretty. Like, genuinely. Like, in college, I feel like I was pretty because I wore makeup and I wore the tighter outfits. Unfortunately, astaghfirullah, may Allah forgive me for the things that were not Islamic that I did. But walking by and feeling like heads are turning, or walking by and feeling like people like see you as pretty, it's a good feeling. Obviously, like, sometimes it's like anxiety inducing to have eyes on you, but overall, like, girls like to feel pretty, and that's what I felt. And I haven't felt like that in a while. And that's just something that I gave up for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I think going to Hajj and no, I didn't go to Hajj. Going to Umrah with my husband, it was really eye-opening, because I didn't wear makeup for Umrah, because I was like, I don't want to risk my wudu being not accepted. Like, if I have to make wudu again, it wouldn't count over my makeup because it wouldn't go through all the way, right? And I also felt like, what about all the men who are going to see me? I don't want to get sins for that. You know what I mean? Because if the hijab is protecting my beauty, what am I doing by beautifying my face? You know what I mean? It's kind of going against what I'm trying to do with the hijab and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to protect me from, which is unwanted male gaze, people looking at my beauty before they even listen to what I'm saying, like all that kind of stuff that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects us from. So after that, I went to Turkey, and obviously, like, I had fits lined up for Turkey, and then I was like, but like, why am I about to put on makeup? Like, why would I not risk it in Umrah, but risk it here in Turkey? Like, what's the difference? At the end of the day, like, I could die right here in Turkey, and I would die with prayers that didn't count because my wudu didn't count, or I would die with sins from everyone who saw me with makeup. You see what I'm saying? So that really shifted my mindset in terms of really understanding that on the Day of Judgment, we will 100,000% look back and think, I wish I didn't do it. I wish I didn't wear makeup. I wish I didn't care so much about my beauty. I wish I prayed my 5 prayers. I wish I read more Quran. I wish I spent time with my family. I wish I was a better person. I wish I remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. I wish I spent more time in the masjid. I wish all these things that we wish, like, we would beg to go back and do. So I'm thinking, like, I don't want to be in a position where I have to beg, you know? I don't want to be in a position where I feel so stupid for the choices that I've made, you know? So even though I have times where I miss feeling like the pretty that I felt, or like I felt more attractive, I know that choosing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the right choice, you know? Like that trend on TikTok right now, do the right thing. It's like, do the right thing trend. I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And I don't know where the strength is coming from, y'all, because you would think if I'm having a mental breakdown yesterday, like a bad one, about feeling like I didn't look as good as other girls on social media, and I couldn't like portray that. Like, I know I can look as good, but that's for me. It's not for me to show y'all. You see what I'm saying? So knowing that I have the potential but not being able to show it is something that I have to accept, because that's just literally hijab. Hello. Like okay, you know what? Let me talk about it, because I'm going to do an episode about the hijabi beauty standard, and it's going to be interesting because we've developed a beauty standard for hijabis now. And so now it's hard to even live up to that one, let alone just the beauty standard in the world, a hijabi beauty standard. So get ready for that episode because I'm going to go more in depth. But I need to stray away from beauty because that's not what this episode is about. This episode is about reflecting and resetting. So if you resonated with what I talked about with beauty, then this episode is good for you. If you didn't, I'm sorry. That was 40 minutes of me just talking about the struggles of letting go of feeling your best and showing that to everybody. Because I think the reason I want to show everyone my beauty is because I feel like it has value. And that's the problem. The problem is that I have been conditioned to think that my value lies in looking good. And that's what we're taught as girls in this society. And that's what I'm trying to kick to the curb. So that is why I feel attached to this life. And so in order to reset, I wrote down a few things that I feel like can help detach from the dunya. I think one of the things to realize is, what should I be attached to, right? So obviously we know we should be attached to the akhirah, always working towards the next life, because that next life is the life. Like, we need to stop looking at it as the next life and think about it as the life. Like, imagine right now you're in the womb. You're like, this world is womb, okay? We're about to be birthed to the new life, like your actual life. But what determines what that life looks like is what we do in this life. So that's the whole point of the reflect and reset, right? Is that, are we working towards that life, or are we under the impression that this is it? Because if this is it, I'm about to... Because if this is it, I'm about to be real upset. But I know it's not, okay? Because if the world that we're actually supposed to be in is a world of misery, suffering, pain, temporary happiness, and all the stuff that this world gives us, then that's going to be a really depressing world to live in, right? So alhamdulillah that my coffee just took a nosedive, like literally right off the couch to the floor. Took care of that. I feel like I've spent 45 minutes talking about a completely different topic, but it's really not completely different at the end of the day, is it? Because you should be reflecting. And I was reflecting, so I'm on brand. Okay, I'm on theme. Thank you. But let's get into what I actually planned, please, because we're 50 minutes in, and I know you guys love the longer episodes, so I'm not mad about it. But I am stressed about it because I need to get my point across. We were talking about the next life, right? The next life. Shaitan will make that life look so out of reach, so far away. And he will make this life look insanely pretty. Like, he'll make you focus on money and focus on the right husband and focus on how big your house can be and focus on how many friends you can have and how pretty you can be and successful. When in reality, he's taking you away from everything you should be focusing on. And like I said before, indulging in this life is not a problem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it beautiful. He made certain things acts of worship. So we're really here to worship him. Like, we're not here accidentally. Like, we're here to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's our purpose, right? But shaitan, the tricky pick-me he is, he likes to make you focus too hard on the other stuff. He's not going to tell you, like, don't believe in heaven and don't believe in God and don't believe in, don't pray and don't wear hijab. He'll mainly tell you things that will subtly take you away. And that's his whole strategy. So I've got him figured out, okay? I think that if you can identify and, like, stop and reflect, right? I keep saying reflect or reset, but the whole point is, can you see it? Or are you too distracted that you can't even stop in your tracks? That's why every day we're supposed to be asking for forgiveness for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because doing that humbles us into thinking, I'm actually doing a lot that's not right, because I am human. But I'm not even asking for forgiveness? Are you kidding? Like, so every night doing that will help you start to reflect on your life and think, okay, here's what I can do different. Here's what I'll keep doing. Why is that so? Why is hijab hard for me? What can I do to make hijab more appealing? What can I do to make salat less of a chore and more of something I want to do? That kind of stuff. Okay, so let's talk about what you should even be attached to. Because if you can't be attached to the dunya, but you're in the dunya, what are you supposed to be attached to? Be attached to your purpose. Your purpose is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to please Him, you need to worship Him, right? Worshipping, I feel like when we think about worship and ibadah, it's literally just hijab, salat, fasting, reading Quran. Yes, those are very important. And they're important for a reason. If you actually really think about it, prayer stops you 5 times a day to reflect. 5 times in the day. When you wake up, it sets the intention for the day. Middle of the day, when you're about to get real busy, that's when it catches you again. Then after, when your day is going down a little bit at Asr time, and your third prayer, you could forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you could remember Him. And then the sun sets. Your night's about to start. Lots of things happen at night. Night is a scary place. Are you going to set the attention with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you going to have a meeting with the one who created you? Are you going to be grounded with that form of worship? And then before you sleep, after your whole day, are you going to worship Him again? It's actually quite interesting why salat is so important, because it's the first thing you're going to be asked about when you die. When you die, you're going to be asked, do you pray? Did you pray? So like, why is that one so important? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people like to focus on spirituality and I believe in God and I love God, but show it. Show it through your prayer. Like, it's not, I get it. If you don't understand Arabic, it's hard to resonate with salat. If you're a busy girl, it's hard to resonate with salat and it's hard to make time. But once you do, you're gonna start to understand why that's the first thing you're asked about, because it really does show how important Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to you, that you're gonna meet Him 5 times a day. And it's even more important to recognize that you're meeting with your Creator every single time. And that's hard for me to understand, because when I pray, it's easy for me to like get distracted. It's easier for me to not understand that I'm literally in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, that does not click. I'm a very visual learner, but obviously that's the beauty of the religion, is that you have that much faith that you believe in the unseen. That's the proof. That's the proof that the life that you want to be in for eternity is Jannah. You know what I mean? Okay, so obviously, like I said, the forms of worship that come to mind are very good and important forms of worship. But what we forget is that literally everything can be an act of worship if you just have the right intention. Literally everything. Like studying, going to work, cleaning your house. Literally anything, if you turn the intention to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's an act of worship, right? So, for example, literally right now, me recording this, act of worship. Why? Because I'm trying to bring people closer to the deen. Act of worship. I'm doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and out of love for you guys, purely for the sake of Allah. Of course, everyone has like to work on intentions. Like, I need to make sure I'm not doing this to have fame, or I'm not trying to do this to, let me think of some evil desires, to act like arrogant, like I'm better than y'all, anything like that. Like, that's not my intention. So just my intention is for this to be of benefit to me on the Day of Judgment and a benefit to you. Like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that you spent time listening to this instead of other things. You know what I mean? Something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name was mentioned. Even working out is an act of worship, if you have the intention that you want to take care of the body that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. Your body is an amana. Like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this body. It's not yours, it's His. And you're taking care of it. Act of worship. You're studying because you want to be able to help people in the future. You're studying because you want to be able to provide for your family in the future. Act of worship. That's the thing. We act like Islam is so separate from our life, but it's really not. Like, it's really not. It's really part of the day-to-day. Going to Fajr before you study, and then studying because he wants to provide for his family in the future. All of that is acts of worship. Islam is not separate from your life. It's not. But you separate yourself from Islam, and that's not going to be good for you in the future. Okay, so I feel like another way to see if you're too attached to the dunya, or like just a way to reflect on your life, is by thinking, what does my life look like and what should it look like? Yeah, what does my life look like and what should it look like? You know what I mean? So, one, we should be surrounded with Islam. Like a lot. Like we should, like going to the masjid should be part of our week. Reading Quran should be part of our day. Having like a distinct prayer area at home should be part of our house. Quran should be played. Lectures should be listened to. We should be studying it. Like we're not doing enough is what I'm saying. And that's just humans. Like what I'm trying to emphasize is that you not doing enough is given. Like we know that, you know, no one enters Jannah based on their good deeds because we simply couldn't do enough. We enter based on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy alone. So to earn that mercy, like we need to show that we're trying our best, right? Are we trying our best if we're not even surrounded by Islam? What are we surrounding ourselves with right now? TikTok, music, mixed friend groups. Like what else? You know what I mean? Like content on YouTube that's not even like beneficial. There's lawnmowers in the background, so apologize if you can hear that, but if you can't, props to this mic. I think it's the Rode Pod mic. I got it like way back when I started, but anyways, your life, like I said, should look intentional. Everything you do should be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So basically, let's look at your life right now. You wake up. I'm just gonna give like hypotheticals. You wake up, you pray Fajr, right? Already you're setting the intention for the day. Already you're doing fard, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's most beloved forms of worship are the ones that He made an obligation, right? So salat, zakat, what else? Hijab, you know what I mean? Like those are the things that He values the most, as well as like the little deeds that we do throughout the day. It's so fun. Like He really values what you do. And I think it's easy for us to think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only wants to be close with the most righteous of people, but He wants to be with the one that keeps coming back to Him. And that's where reflect and reset comes in. If you continuously reflect and then go back to Allah and then again reflect, go back to Allah, and then again reflect, go back to Allah, that's what He looks for. That's exactly the type of person that He says will have His mercies on the Day of Judgment. Another thing is your life should be meaningful. Like I said, I took a lot of inspiration from Farah's video about you don't have to look pretty. Like you don't have to be pretty. That's not what this life is about. Exactly. My problem right now is that the reason I wanted to reflect and reset was because I was like, I'm focusing way too much on wanting to be pretty or wanting to show beauty. That's not what life is about. Like, what can I do that's meaningful? I can volunteer at Sunday school on the weekend. I can teach someone Quran. Like I can call my mom, you know what I mean? Like little things, like make people feel good, help people. There's so much you can do that's actually meaningful, but we're falling into the brain rot and we're falling into like things that don't matter, literally. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah continues to assist a worshipper for as long as the worshipper is occupied assisting another. So literally as you're helping people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is helping you. You know what I mean? So those are the type of things that make your life better. It's not making money at 19 years old and investing in the stock market. It's not those things that will help your life. It's having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on your side. And to do that, you need to be someone who's actively trying to get better at their deen and actively remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Literally the one that can change your entire life. The one who wrote your life, right? That's the person you should be focusing on when in terms of like making your life how you want it to look, okay? Being successful in this life is not an issue, okay? You can be successful in this life, but who's going to give you the success, okay? Is it like the certain job? Is it the amount of hours you put in? Obviously, that has like a part in it. That's tying your camel. But ultimately, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the provider of those things. And His power is limitless. So you want something, you have the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for it. You know what I mean? That's where your life planning and your life, like how you want your life to look like, it should always tie back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He's the one who provides that for you. Because if you forget Him and you try to do everything without Him, it's either not going to happen because he's the provider, or it is going to happen, but it's not going to happen for you in the afterlife. And that's just depressing. So basically, all in all, your main focus should be Islam. Everything else comes with Islam. Islam is a way of life. It's not an extra course. It's not an extra thing. It's a way of life. Your whole life, like Islam, it tells you everything. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just tell you like who to worship and how to do it. It literally tells you to smile at people. It tells you to like, you know what I mean? It tells you how to be. So we don't know those things because we don't learn enough about Islam. So I'm going to drop some people that I enjoy listening to, and I want you guys to do the same. One of them is Ustad Abdurrahman Murphy from Dallas. He's part of the Roots community. I adore his lens of Islam, like the way he talks about it, the way he connects it, all the topics that he does on Spotify and on his Instagram, things like that, I love. May Allah reward him. I also love Sheikh Bilal Asad. He just has this aura to him that's very like you can tell he has a love for Islam, you know, and that's what we want, obviously. Who else? Honestly, I just be typing in Islamic motivation on YouTube and it just be coming up, and then find the sheikh that you like. That's just what I suggest, obviously. And obviously find podcasts that talk about Islam, maybe like mine. I'm just kidding. I'm really trying my best to make it Islam focused because that's the goal, obvi. And clearly I go on tangents about everything else, like what kind of mic I use for what. But yeah, the last thing I want to say is that reflecting goes hand in hand with repentance. I was going to call this reflect, reset, and repent, which is true. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about it at the end because we really don't understand the importance of istighfar and repenting and asking for forgiveness. So I want you guys to look into that. Find someone who talks about it on YouTube or wherever. It is very important for us to constantly be asking for forgiveness because that's the type of person that enters Jannah, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to forgive your sins. He wants to. He literally said that he would match your sins with mercy. So, but we need to be asking for forgiveness. You know, it needs to be sincere and it needs to be consistent. So I suggest, I'm thinking about doing it towards the end of the day, maybe like after Isha or like a minute after every single salat. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it, but do it with me, please. And I think it's going to be really nice because it forces you to reflect. If you're asking for forgiveness, I mean, what are you asking for? It makes you think about the things that you're falling short on, but it also makes you thankful for the things. Like, for example, if I'm asking for forgiveness for listening to music today, but then next week I'm not, like, progress, girl. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm kind of losing my marbles right now because I've been talking for a long time. And I'm excited that I just finished my first recorded podcast. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I am going to do an advice segment on my Patreon right now. So if you're not done listening and you'd like to go listen, the link will be right here. I love when you guys DM me about what you think about the podcast and anything else that I post on social media. So I screenshotted some of the messages that I got so that I can answer. So let me read one of them. Salam Mihad, you asked in your latest podcast episode to send in questions for advice, so I was really hoping you could help me navigate through this. I'm currently in college and I like a guy who I've known for a long time through mutual friends, attending the same high school and working together in clubs and organizations. I'm still 19 and he's a year older than me, so I don't think I'm ready for marriage, but I'm also struggling with getting over him, not envisioning my life with him. So I guess my main question is how to navigate having a crush in Islam and how to navigate Islamically detaching/attaching yourself to a healthy level. Someone has a crush. No, I'm kidding. Let's go answer that. If this is where you're leaving us, thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I'm actually really excited that you lasted this long because that means you like it and that means you think similar to me. And I love you for that, for the sake of Allah only. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who love their brothers and sisters for the sake of Allah. So I love you girls, and please make dua for me all the time. That's literally the best thing you can give me. And of course, I'll make dua for you guys. If you enjoyed this episode, I have more episodes out. I have a Patreon, and I plan to post more, inshallah, now that I'm recording. I will see you in the next episode of wherever you're at. Salam.